They call it music. 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 They call it. 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 They call it.
Boom! Welcome back to the thing called Double Rock Bite. The show what we said to be continued. We back here in full effect, giving you pure, raw, uncut, unadulterated Junkanoo news. I hear today yours truly top class, my co-host today. The paparazzi, baby, in here to spin you with the greatest and the best Junkanoo news, baby. We can touch you light today and shake your heart. Cause this one gonna be little rockets can fly like you just getting to space and coming back out after 200 and something days. You know what I mean? You can imagine getting to space for all of that.
For 8
You're
days.
supposed to go to space for 8 days and
8
then up there
days.
for 200 and something days.
But I had some days like that though.
Boy, that's crazy. Now you gotta learn how to walk again.
But I had some days like that too. I had to learn to walk again.
Well, thing called love.
Oh
Boy.
man, what a word. What a
Why?
word.
Junkanoo's dangerous. I used to tell people, Junkanoo dangerous, mate.
That word dangerous because you know what happens when two lovers fall apart or break apart or whatever you want to call it, or just don't love each other as much as you did before,
What?
or just don't tolerate that them things you used to do before.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's called love.
Hey,
That's
well,
why Beyonce say crazy in love.
Crazy in love.
Crazy in
boss.
love.
Crazy in love for Junkanoo father.
Crazy in love for Junkanoo.
But that's a serious thing, my mother's sick. I ready to go to space. You can imagine Junkanoo in space.
Well,
Everybody floating around.
We tried it like about 3, 4.
Well, you get off with
3,
your
4 junk. What?
Oh,
All he has blowers. Family
Oh,
try
yeah.
it. Valley try it.
off with your.
Only think I'm doing that today. Colors, but did they get the head spike off on that one? I don't know.
Wait, space? Those people who bring space to space
Spike off,
get
spike
head
off.
look off because ain't nobody know what space look like. So your interpretation of space is some people lost.
It's between that and Junkanoo is a simplicity thing.
Yeah.
You,
yeah.
Regardless of what theme you pick, you got to break it down for the
For the
simplest
grade, for
person.
grade 1 person
Or
understand.
the youngest individual
Yeah.
out there to identify, because once you start going in them book this tick and looking for graphics and animation that people never
Off
seen
a
before,
chair, I tell people. Off a chair.
you gone too
Yeah,
deep.
yeah.
That means you gone too deep.
Hey, you say, what is it?
Keep it simple. You gone
Say
too deep.
big, she going too far.
Gone too far.
Big, she going too far,
Too
boss.
far.
Yeah, but we can dive in deep into the emotional effects and psychological effects Junkanoo's play on your mind, on your body, on your soul, and on everything.
Yeah, because they got me on some psychological stuff right now. What's going on with the Valley and the Valley? I know we mentioned it earlier, and we mentioned it in our previous show, but my question to you is this, because you have some insight into the Valley boys that I don't think many people or nobody had, because you were so close to Gus Cooper. I think he was even closer to Gus Cooper than his own sons, but that's another subject for another day. Yeah, I said that. But what's going on, top class? I mean, I know you ain't got your foot, you ain't got your pinky on the pulse of what's going on, because you ain't in there no more.
No, I been out there a little while.
But you could give us an insight that other people probably can't give. So let me start by saying this. Let me give my little introduction. I'm a Valley boy. I've been a Valley boy since 1991. 1991 to 2005. I always remember 2005, that's when I started Junkanoo Paparazzi. Right? So I'm a volley boy fan all my life. Volley boy, whatever the case may be. Now I'm a fan of Junkanoo. So I love all of y'all, so don't get mad.
sad,
'Cause
Chuck.
you know, oh,
You get personal, let's get personal.
Can't get personal when I shooting your picture. You get personal when I say I'm only shooting the volley boys. No.
Yeah.
And then you get personal.
Personal.
Right. So I shoot everybody.
Yeah.
So the whole situation for me came about when I was invited to this meet and greet, or they called it at the time they called it a card registration drive.
Yeah.
So I went to the card registration
Wait.
drive.
Funny you say that, right? I was cleaning out some things this morning, and what I pick up?
Volley boys.
A volley boy ID.
Yeah. I lost both of mine in my wallet a
Seriously,
couple years ago.
honestly, this morning I cleaned out the truck and then it drop out of somewhere.
Happens. But anyway, this is registration drive, so you know me, I mingle around, sign up, take my picture. And a couple of days later, or maybe a week or two later, I found out that this wasn't really a registration drive by, well, it was the Volley Boys, but it was individuals who were pivoting their management, I wouldn't say skills, but they were pivoting away from the management of the Volley Boys at the time. So I thought try to get some more information what's going on. And as time progressed, I guess the world figured out what was going on, because now we have two factions at the time who wanted to be the leaders of the group. That's how I read it at the time. And then it just snowballed from there to insults and propaganda, and it got so nasty that I really removed myself from it. But then see, this is where our best friend come back at it again. Best friend, Earl Cash, yeah, I call your name out on the show. Man, I need you, got a costume. And you know what's the crazy thing? I never asked him way forward, 1958.
Yeah.
Because that was irrelevant.
All you know is for the
You
Volley
get a
Boy.
costume, we got this costume. And that's what we did, right? Now, I didn't get catch up in all the emotional side, but then, you know, working with these individuals on the 1958 side, I basically pick sides.
Yeah, you.
So
when
now
everybody see you,
so now I
basically-
say I pick sides.
Yeah.
So now I start to get this cold shoulder from
that side.
right. And then the insults and the derogatory statements that were made, not to me, but to each other, were just heartbreaking. And I don't want to sound like a little wuss or a little P word on the show, but I took it personal. I got offended.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I don't like the fact that my group, Volley Boys business, was aired public for the whole world. That should have been taken care of in-house.
Yeah.
That's number one. So going on X show, Y show, or D show to try and prove your point to me was garbage. And especially to go on the show that they went on was even more disrespectful to me. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. And now we to the point now where you have to go to court over this. You got to get a court order to say who's the Volley Boys and who ain't the Volley Boys. And then when I look at my own two eyes and I see members of who's the Volley Boys and who ain't the Volley Boys, I know none of these people. Who you is and who you is. And they mouth so hard. But who they is?
Papa, I can be real with you, right? You know, I stopped because
No, I never knew why you stopped. That's the
I
first time
stopped
right now.
I stopped because a lot of things wasn't making sense in the Valley for me no more.
Okay,
In terms of management.
right. You was a part of, you are.
I was a part of management.
Right. I was never
you know?
part of management, so I only
And
get the trickle down effect, so I got the water down.
And then
you know what?
when I was in management, boss, 90% of management was over the age of 50.
So why you knocking the 50-year-old?
No. Understand when I say this,
Man,
man. I can tell you why I say that.
Man,
No,
I'm over 50, man.
No, I got. And let me tell you why I said this. Because at that time, 80% of your group under 50.
Okay. I see the ratio there.
You see right there?
Okay.
So now we incompatible.
So you telling me they was out of touch?
We incompatible, man.
Okay.
Man, I can be real with you, boss. Because plenty people, I been silent for a long time. I ain't say
Really?
nothing.
What?
No.
That's silence
Boss,
behind that. We don't want to be silent no more.
Boss, cause soldier man, I get some files and I can produce some files, boss. So that's one thing I have, boss. See that? That's why.
We got paperwork.
That's why I stay. That's why I stay in my corner, cause I don't want you come for me because if I produce some things I could cause more damage than whatever going on right now, boss.
Okay, so hold on. You want to talk to your lawyer before we do this interview or what?
You know? No, but I ain't gonna get into that, boss. But I can be real and I can tell you why.
Okay,
When I step aside more than 8 years, people be like, oh yeah, he had a son, so he stopped booger. I stopped because management wasn't doing what they supposed to do, dog.
8 years?
Like, I saw your man.
Wow.
You know how long, boss? Last time I do jump, my son 7 now, boy. My son 7 now, boy. I stopped Junkanoo before he born.
Wow. Wow. 7?
Yep. You see what I saying?
2005. Yeah, that's before the pandemic.
See,
Yeah,
and I tell them, boss, hey, look here, boy. If you been doing something for so long and it ain't working, you gotta change it, but you don't want to change it, boy. What they say? If you keep doing the same thing over and over, what it is?
Yeah, gotta be
Insanity.
Yep, but
Was
you get the same results. You get the same results, yeah.
I ain't want to be insane, so I left.
Okay.
I sidelined myself, dog. And looking for people looking from outside don't understand what's going on inside. Even people who in the group don't understand what's going on
I
inside.
just tell you, I didn't understand.
Because a lot of people came to me when this whole situation and this roll over, and they're like, boy, when you leave, I should have gone too, boy. But I know the information you had, so I wasn't trusting you. And now I say, no, man. I say, boss, I give you little tidbits. I give people little tidbits, you know. And some people say, man, I just vibing. A lot of people said I just vibing. But I foresee what happening now from back then. Because management. But when you don't manage something right, what gonna happen? And I find this the hardest to believe, dog. You in management, how a person could come there, register that group, you been doing this group, managing this group for all these years, and judgment sign this group up in an NPO, and you're supposed to be a non-profit organization now. You're supposed to be a good manager. And I paint this picture to somebody. All these people from both fractions are Valley Boys. Suppose a foreigner or somebody else would come and take that name and register that. Let that sink in for a minute, boss. Suppose somebody outside of Junkanoo came and registered that name and take that name. Then what you could do? The name get taken.
Okay, you watch him do? Watch him turn it into a profitable, marketable business.
Because it's a brand.
With a working website and branding material. I can get Valley Boys drawers, I can get Valley Boys socks, I can get Valley Boys nails, I can get Valley Boy hair, I can get Valley Boy glasses, I can get Valley Boy anything.
You gotta understand me, baby.
I can see
a lot of people ain't look at it from that perspective, you know.
That's a very, I surely didn't.
You see what I saying?
Yeah.
And I always tell people, suppose it wasn't them who take the name. Suppose it was somebody else.
Yeah.
And you can't get your name. And just like how they said, say, man, they cease and desist from using the name of booger. If somebody else would get that and they tell you that, what you was going to do?
What you could do.
You know what I mean? Because some people is coming real and they can come and they can do what they got to do. So, boss, I tell people, boy, I don't pick sides on no one. Because if I had to pick sides, I'd be on one side.
Right, but that.
Because I'm being approached, boss. I've been approached, boss.
We've all have been approached. Okay.
You see what I'm saying? See, but you gotta look through all the smokes and the mirrors, boss. The smokes and mirrors. Because some people on this side, boss, ain't really judgment good for the group, and some people on that side ain't ready for the group, dog. And I know this from personal experience, King.
So you basically tell me you put them all together and you may have a chance, but separately, dog eat your lunch?
Hey, soldier man, listen to me, boy.
And that's basically the situation they're in.
Many people used to see me roll around my camera, but they ain't never know what I was rolling my camera for, you know.
Do you think there can be any reconciliation? Do you think they can get back together?
No, man. But listen to me.
This divorce is over?
This
love is over? It's
but
final?
look here.
Final?
Listen to me. The Valley Boys will never be the Valley Boys again.
Never.
Never be the Valley Boys again.
So they can be the Valley Boys?
Boss, you can be the Valley Boys, but it ain't gonna never be what the Valley Boys used to be, boss, and never be that again. Boss, the Valley Boys in the pursuit of excellence, boss.
You tell me Saxon's 2 more for sure then.
Man, listen to me, man. It ain't gonna never be the same no more, man. There's a person inside who been inside, dog. I can tell you that, boss. Boss, the Valley Boys, first of all, let me tell you, boss, the Valley Boys are people who love the Valley Boys and will do anything for the Valley Boys without a dime.
But they would spend a dime.
But they would spend a dime and do a dime and do everything.
Or they would bring people in who have the dime.
Nah, boss, you gotta spend that dime to get things together, boss.
Ah, my.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why you'll never be the same no more. The people who was in the valley did valley things for the love of the valley and the love of Junkanoo, boy.
But love is gone.
Boss, a lot of people is faithful to Gus Cooper, you know, boss.
Yeah.
And when Gus
We call
Cooper
them what? Winston-ites?
They call him Winston-Knight, but you say what you want to say, boss. But if Gus call him for something,
You get it done.
boss, that group can get it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
So
saying?
you're saying now that before you left, that the group was not in that position anymore?
No, man. That style, boss, things started to go downhill, boss. And I've been telling
we
that dog.
We all knew things were going to change when
But
Gus
I
passed
say,
away.
understand me, dog. People used to say Gus Cooper
so-
was a dictator, right? But he wasn't a dictator, no. But a lot of people who know Gus and work around Gus, they see the difference. And a lot of people who came in there and had a perspective for Gus, when they work around him for a week or two,
Then
they be like,
I didn't know he's
Gus
like
do
that."
it,
Yeah.
but he ain't like what he said. But you know, the Saxon person tell me before, say, but if Gus Cooper was our leader, but we would have win every parade.
Probably was.
A Saxon person tell me that call, boy. Like I say, boy, if Gus Cooper was our leader, boy, we would have win every parade. Nobody would never win.
They ain't doing too bad now.
No, they ain't doing too bad.
Gus Cooper ain't around now.
Because they this thing called strategy, boss. The man of strategy. The man loved Junkanoo.
Do you think that the whole structure of the Valley Boys changed while Gus Cooper was alive? But there was no. Do you think there was a succession plan?
But it started to move. Some things started to move in place, you know.
Who's Denny?
Who's Danny?
Who's Danny?
That's the whole point. I just going to get there. Because Gus Cooper and his wisdom start to strategize the Valley Boys and start to put people in place, you know.
Okay.
Plenty people
A lot
didn't
of people
realize it. Even myself didn't realize what he was doing at that time, you know. Even me didn't realize. So I never was looking for no position because I know how people in the Valley go. Ego is a serious thing, boy. And when you get one little position and power, but one thing I never wanted was power, you know. But you know, Gus judgment lined me up and put me in places like that.
Because he could see.
He could see, I could handle it, and he could see, but I can get the job done. Gus Cooper's a dude like this, boy. He like production. And if you're unproductive, ain't you, dog. So that most of the people who didn't like him wasn't productive.
A bold statement, boss.
Man, understand what I said. Most of the people who didn't like him wasn't productive, dog. Plain and simple, dog. And I ain't beating around no bush. I be real,
We ain't
dog.
pump
Because
faking
I wake at him, dog.
We ain't pump faking.
I ain't pump faking, dog.
all right.
But I just be real. See, one thing with me, but I ain't scared to say what I want to say because ain't nobody could do me nothing, dog.
No.
Nobody could do me nothing.
Especially in Junkanoo.
Ain't nobody could do me nothing, dog. And I get the files to show that, dog.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
So go
Wait,
back
look
to
here.
the yeah.
Yeah, so Gus Cooper bring me in there, boss. I used to carry off the shoulder dance, you know.
like me.
Gus Cooper tell me, say, boss, you can't carry no more off the shoulder dance, but I need you to come work with me, boss. Need you to help me work on the banner. I said, all right, then. Off the shoulder, cut out. Everything good. I working on the banner. Things going on in the Valley, boss. I need you to build choreograph, girl. That same video you see going viral a couple of weeks ago when the Valley girls was carrying on their bar and Shirley Sweet did that African costume. That was the section I had to build.
Okay. So
That morning I had to build up section.
Hold on. You build that from scratch.
Gosh, well, he had to build it from scratch,
Or
dog.
someone designed it, you just put
You
it
know what I
together.
mean?
Were you the contractor or you was the
Boss, it was a collaboration
Okay,
effort, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then they put me in charge to make sure all of that costume get the Bay Street, boss.
And how much costume are you looking at?
That was about 25. That was between 25 and 30.
Okay.
You know, for that section. So I say, all right, then, boss. So I had to go in there. Then Gus Cooper said, boss, look here, boss. I need you to take over material. Oh, people ain't like that, boss. Who was Danny? That's where Who Was Danny come from. So you remember when the Valley boys come and say, but who was Danny to tell me what I could get? Who was Danny, boss? What you mean who was Danny? Danny is the man Gus Cooper put in charge to run this operation.
Danny is top class.
But soldier man, listen to me. The first time the Valley boys had a real inventory on things is when I started taking over material. Boss, I remember my boys zapped them. The group used to order the same crepe paper every year. So we had a amount of judgment. I talking about nothing but 30. We had nothing but 30 boxes of paper.
Yeah.
Because we keep ordering the same.
I tell you, colors you have plenty of purple, black. It ain't gonna be gold. It ain't gonna be orange. It ain't gonna be white.
Ain't much of the black.
It
There
ain't
was
gonna be
plenty
white.
purple. We had some seminal red. We
Yeah.
had some green. We
Oh,
had some
green.
of that plenty of that burnt orange.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
with so much of them papers, boss.
Repetitious.
I judgments donated a lot of paper to Sunderland's Rehabilitation Center for their Junkanoo, boy, because there was so much. And so I started to write the list. Every year I started to write the list about this the crepe paper we need. We need by 10 boxes of white, we need but 10 boxes of red. You know the basic, them hard colors we like. So I get up and I tell the dudes, please, and the bottom, please do not order any or purple paper. What niggas do?
Orange paper?
Or order purple paper, boss. I specifically tell the people don't order purple paper.
They were just so set in what they usually order that, you know.
Man, then Cooper say, boss.
Let me see any purple on the street.
Then Gus say, boss, I can need you and Cisco to take over judgment, rods and things. Oh no, boss. The kind of objection they get to that? No, boss, you can't take over no rods, boy.
Why?
We're just getting ready to take over ordering the rods. No, boss, you can't take over the ordering the rods.
Why the objection?
Boss, you asking me? I still trying to figure it out.
Because you was Danny.
I Danny.
Okay.
Then let me take over that. I can account and tell them what rod to order, but I can't take over ordering the rods.
Sounds a little
You see what I saying?
hoopery.
I could tell you what rods to order, but I can't order the rods myself. You see what I saying? Seeing all these things. Then Gus started to surround himself with young designers and builders and things. He started bringing all the Twitch and Kenny and all them and things. See, that's why Gus stayed relevant for so long. He started
hang with the young
hang with the
folks.
young people and started again new techniques, when Twitch and Kenny came with them fiberglass fishing rod pole and thing, when the Valley had them judgment balance what was over 20 feet in the air. Oi, Africa morning? Gus like, yeah, we can do that. And then Gus started to see different things, like, boss, you need to get some more of this, get some more of that. And he harnessed these young people, so he started to build a young core of Wally boys that he seek a judgment carry this group in a serious direction.
Okay.
Yeah, boy.
Okay, let's get to the juice now. Let's get to the juicy part. We understand the history part.
Yeah.
Him surrounding himself with the young people. Where we went wrong?
Because the people started to move the young people out of the place, boss. They frustrate the young people.
That sounds like about right. That's what we doing.
You started to frustrate the young people, dog.
Isn't that what we do in the Bahamas?
Now they frustrate me, so I go on. A lot of people didn't like me because
you know why they frustrate you? They were intimidated by you.
Yeah, man.
That's why they frustrate
like
you.
the thing say, dog don't bark at park car.
It's piss on the tire though.
Yeah,
Okay.
but they ain't barking at the park car.
Just saying, they piss on the tire though.
Yeah.
All right.
You see what I saying? So they frustrated, and then you see nothing happening, so you move. Then they started to frustrate all the brethren like Kenny them. They get frustrated, so now Kenny them move. So all the people he started to place around the group, all them move out because they frustrated because ain't nothing developing like how it's supposed to develop. Boss, I sit down with Gus Cooper many times, boss, and talk about the future of the Wally boys in a way. Just random conversation, boy. I tell you, boy, one time he bring me to the shack down the bag by Bomber boss. I swear the shack was gonna blow down. The storm was coming, boy. We in the bag there waking, boy. All the roofy like it's gonna lift off. And in there, boss, I need you to meet me down there and work on a couple of things. And he talking on all this. Just before he got sick, he's like, then he found your airbrushing course. Man, we could fund you the airbrushing course so we could save money. The group could save money so you could airbrush all our heads and hands and all that. Boss, he bought a portable airbrush machine and everything, you know. He bought it, had it in the shack storeroom, but he bought it. And a portable one there with all kind of little paints and things. He said, now you find the cost what you spend you on a weekend or whatever it need to, you find it, let me know. We'll fund that.
Investing in the young
He
people.
is investing in us that he can see forward motion in the group that boss, if we invest in you spraying the head, we ain't gotta pay nobody to spray our heads, boss. We get an in-house head sprayer.
Only makes sense.
No, man. You know what I mean? And he started to talk.
Likewise with the in-house car or whatever the case
Exactly,
may be.
and then he started to talk, but boss, you know, we got to start getting little scholarship for art and engineering for the younger people inside the group. So, man, when they come back from school, boss, we could be on a whole different dimension. He started to talk about getting scholarship for all these little people, you know. But this dude he done started to think about this thing long time. He's thinking how he can grow this group. Without having to spend a ton of money, we can grow this group, and this group can keep rolling and be a serious machinery to reckon with.
Where did we go wrong?
I tell you, man, he's just tapping the young talent out, boss. Frustrating the young talent. Frustrating. But young people these days don't take what young people back in the day used to take, boss.
I agree.
Boss, how long you see young people is be on a job? Some of them has come work for a month, boss, and they gone.
Different. But that's not necessarily.
And what you talking about, Junkanoo? What they ain't paying you?
That's not necessarily a bad thing. They get an experience for every one of them jobs they be in.
Yeah, but I mean, some
people
people still, some people just don't care.
Some people just don't want to work.
My point exactly. But the whole point he's trying to make is, boss, this group can be able to be solid, even if I here or if I here. Because we're over the then invest in so much young people that this is just spin over, boss. This just spin. This just spin.
Spinning over right now is him in his grave. Because if he was
alive
today,
every live this day, this would never go on, boss. When I tell people stories, niggas just laugh at me, boss. When I tell them, boss, the chairman used to get run from the shop. Niggas say, boy, you're right. But guys used to run him from the shack, boy. They're saying you're lying awake, boy. You go find the group money, you manage the group, boss, but this construction that's on us. You see what I saying?
Okay.
Boss said, lucky I get footage. See, nobody can come for me because I get footage of things. Mm-hmm. My camera used to stay rolling and no, boss. My camera don't used to be roll. There are people have camera and the camera is a dummy camera. My camera was an active camera, boss.
Yeah, because you used to actually document you building costumes and stuff like that.
Soldier man, I tell you, I get documentary or costume committee meetings, boys. Most secret places in the valley, boy. Costume committee meeting, I have documented home, boss. Never done before in the valley, documented costume committee meeting, boss. That was secret. That's like a secret society in there, boss.
Yeah, I know about that, yeah.
You see what I saying?
Yeah.
So when you get kind of footage like that, you know what you get, boss. I get footage.
So, we talk about management failing in the original Valley Boys. What are your thoughts about this, the Trevor-led or the Davis-led?
See, I used to tell people I used to look at things from all aspects and all different perspectives, you know. Like I gave you an analogy a couple of minutes ago. Mm-hmm. When it's like, boss, I ain't like the way they did this. Mm-hmm. Don't say if you want results, sometimes you got to get radical to get results. You know what I mean? Because if it ain't give, all the group that I asked for is one election.
Okay.
You know? As simple as one election, you know. Mm-hmm. One election caused this whole debacle. What could have been settled in one setting? That's all the election, have election, let the chips fall where it may. Mm-hmm. Chip might have fallen in your favor, chip might not have fallen in your favor. But the whole point is,
50,
you would never get here.
Yeah.
And now we're here. And now we're here. Now, the point I try to make with this is now, but one of the biggest problems I have is when you tell the people you don't know who Trevor Davis is. When Alpha Songs has been sponsoring sections in the Valley and sponsoring the Valley for years. Mm-hmm. So who is Alpha Sound?
Trevor Davis.
My point exactly. So don't mislead the public. First of all, don't mislead the public.
Right. Hey, first of all, it shouldn't have been in the public damn domain.
Yeah.
But anyway, go
then,
on.
No, we didn't dare. So that's why I say,
Yeah.
well, we didn't dare. So don't mislead the public.
Yeah.
Secondly, this is what happened. Trevor Davis wasn't, he didn't go there and say, "Boy, let me just be the leader of this and let's do this," you know. People look for a savior, like I tell people, they looking for a savior to rescue them.
Well, we know the
Right?
connection then.
So when you look for savior, like I always just tell people, when you get in trouble, who you just look for the person best suited that you could get you out of this trouble, right?
Yes.
So if you get locked up from the police, you looking for by one of the high-ranking police officers to try save you.
Yes.
So what you think members in the Valley Boys did?
They went for Brave Butter.
Man, it ain't gotta be rocket science, boss.
Well, we all know what that.
It ain't gotta be rocket science.
We all know where that.
And that figured that
element-
that can get them the traction they needed.
Well, it worked, eh?
You know what I mean? So like I say, Satan teens call for,
Radical action.
it is what it is. And that's why they are this juncture.
So how do you think this can play out? The brand is so damaged now.
Man, boss, I didn't tell you what gonna happen.
So you basically say they fighting for a name that isn't even. I know. Yeah, you're right. The brand is damaged.
Boss,
Is
from-
it repairable?
But listen to me, boss. From you get people who only people in Junkanoo. From you get people leave your group who only know your group.
Yeah.
They grew up in your group from
They're
babies.
not known to be
Jumpers.
Junkanoo journeymen.
No.
And I-
They grew up in your group from babies, boss,
Yeah.
to now, and they grown men and women. From you see them leave, you know it's a
That's-
problem.
that's- that's-
boss,
that's
that's
the
like you
grassroots.
moving. That's
That's the
like you
grassroots.
moving from your mommy, boy.
That's a grassroots.
You just
That's a
say,
big
boy,
step.
I ain't like my mommy no more, boy.
That's a big step. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you ain't like your mommy no more.
I might get married enough to move anyway.
Yeah, you get married and move, but you like your mommy, you still gaining your mommy. You see what I saying?
Yeah, I get
You
you.
like your mommy, you still gaining your mommy.
Yeah.
You ain't gaining your mommy no more.
Yeah.
Let's just break it down in layman terms. You ain't gaining your mommy no more.
So they fighting over a name. I wouldn't even say a brand because it isn't even a brand in the.
Wait.
It wasn't running like a brand. So they basically fighting over a name that isn't even relevant anymore.
A lot of people don't have respect for it no more.
A lot of fans follow too.
That's what I just gonna say. You get people who from babies who grew up in there and that's all they know they lives. Now you get your fans frustrated because the fans know you was a Wally from you as baby and you live, but it's something wrong.
That's like Ken move. Ken?
Yeah, when he moved,
When he
yeah.
from the valley?
Yeah,
Oh, they
they
boo
boo
him
him.
on Bay Street?
Yeah, he get booed.
Yeah, he get booed on
Yeah,
Bay
because they know, boss, you genetically, boss, you's a Saxon superstar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so
when he went back, he got a hero's welcome.
plain and simple. But the whole point is, from a fancy senior people moving in the valley who are die-hard valley boy, now the fans start to judgment, reevaluate themselves as fans.
I can tell you one thing. That Genesis? Mm-hmm. Yeah, they could be a part. They could be.
But it's soldier man, boss, you get, see in Junkanoo, you get Junkanooers, then you get loyal Junkanooers.
Yeah. If you get a
And if you get a loyal Junkanoo being with the group for all these years and through all the breaks-ups and things,
You definitely got
and
heads
still
up.
stand firm, and now they rolling with you.
Yeah.
But
You definitely got a heads up there.
But listen to me, boy, soldier man. I just don't want to touch this subject, boss. I get so much in this subject to talk about. You know what I mean? But we as Valley boys, we judgment. We just let the Valley boy name. We tarnish the name.
Tarnishing name.
We tarnish the name, man.
They have it.
You know what I mean? They
Live
tarnish
and
the name,
direct. The
boy.
man said we tarnish the name.
You know what I mean? But as much building and thing you want to do, boss, the damage has already been done. The
Yeah.
damage has already been done, boy. You know what I mean? And there ain't no way I could pretty it up for you. I'm pretty it up for
This
you.
JN, we don't pretty it.
You know what I mean?
Only,
I come with raw.
Only pretty in here is my face and your shape.
Yeah, boy,
I mean, your face, you already too. but you already
that's
good.
why I say I just bring raw, uncut, unadulterated, pure Junkanoo because I can give you it.
Yeah.
From
Real.
from real dog, boy. Ain't nobody can censor me, and ain't nobody can tell me certain things.
And ain't nobody coming for you.
Well, boss, you come for me, cost me go on my inside my
no,
vault.
no,
I get my vault, boss.
No, we don't
Boss,
want that.
I get hard drives, pun hard drives.
We don't want that.
Nah, man, that's why I stick in my corner. And that's why I ain't side with no side.
Yeah. Well, like I tell you, it was for the love of a friend.
Boy, cause the last time I started to do weight, and I tell the niggas, boss, that's it, boss. I ain't doing no more weight. Do it's like, boy, you can be back next year, boy. Next year come, no Denny. Oh, niggas say, but it's looking real.
Yeah, some serious stuff now.
And it was real for me, because in my shack, a lot of people looked up to me, and not younger people,
Old folk. Yeah, man.
My shack, I was in a shack with more seasoned Valley boys and founding members of the Valley boys that respected me, boy. Those like Mr. Doyle Burrows and Leroy Fountain and all these dudes, boy, in the Valley, boy, they in my shack, boy, I talk about these old dudes who looking to me for direction. Because they know what I had to offer, boy. And you know what Bomber tell me? One time, boy, see Bomber there is a solid. Bomber, say a lot of people don't like Bomber, but Bomber did a lot for Junkanoo. Many people ain't want to talk about it because it's Bomber. You see what I saying?
That's another one.
That's like...
Everybody coming for sponsor.
Oh,
But everybody ain't.
Bomber's
Nobody's
sponsor.
calling for Phil or
you
a
know what I
load of
mean?
soil
Well,
or some sand.
You see what I saying?
No, but he too big for that.
And you know what Bomber respect me? I never asked Bomber for $1 one day in my life. I never asked Bomber to say, boy, give me $1. You know what I say, Bomber? I say, boy, Bomber, right now, boy, we need this for the shark, boy. We need some paint, we need some conduct, we need this, we need that. Denny, come for us. I never tell him, say, boy, I can need me a couple dollars to do this and do that. And never once ask him for money to do nothing in Junkanoo, boy. Nothing. If anything, you bring the material, that's what I need done. Or if I need a service, but I need this, if you get me somebody can do the service, you can do this. You know what I mean? But I respect Bomber George because Bomber is a real Wally boss.
Yeah.
You see what I saying? And he is one of them niggas, Spike. Gus could call him for anything. And he would have delivered.
Well, it seems like we have to come and pay Mr. Bummer George a visit for a show, eh? Because we got we down for the real ones.
Bummer is a dude like this. Bummer is a dude. He ain't want nobody actually, ain't want nobody know what he do, you know.
No, wait.
Saying what used to frustrate him is people talking him all kind of different way and they didn't know what he contributing to them.
Okay.
Getting the Bay Street boss.
Yeah.
You see what I say?
Disrespect.
That's just pure disrespect.
Disrespect, yeah.
Disrespect to them.
Yeah.
You know, and he did so much.
Yeah.
You see what I said? So rather I got to shout out my boy Bummer, because he did a lot for the Wally boys, even right after the boss died. But
And
we was in the try, we was in, way after Gus died, we was in the trying times, you know. I ain't want you to sleep, boss. I remember my shocking had no material, boss. And I called Bummer George, and Bummer George said, "Boy, Denny, come down there, get
That's
this."
basically 10 years ago, right?
2014.
11 years ago. Okay.
See what I saying?
Yeah. So, thanks for the insight. Now, I hope that helped people.
Yeah, man, you got to
Figure out
decide.
exactly
You got to
what's
decide
going
for
on.
foolishness, boy, because a lot of things has been reported in media. Media spend things how they want to spend it.
And not only the media,
And-
social media,
Yeah,
and then people
man,
putting their own perspective,
you
their own
can't put
personal
it-
spin on
But
it.
you got to go inside and dig
And-
deep and
And
understand what this is.
and
boy.
what actually happened, we're talking about love. A lot of people are passionate about the Volley Boys, and I think they said some things that go out of.
But,
You
and
know?
like I tell people, most of the people who beating their mouth up about the Wally boys, when they ain't half of them never even do nothing serious for the Wally boys, boy.
Well, there
And
you
let
go.
me put it right there. Half of them never even do serious things for the Wally boys, boy. Half of them used to just show up around the shack and look around, they were spectators, boy.
I mean, they walk in and walk out and then say they've been in the shop.
But soldier man, see, listen there, boys, don't get me started, boy. That's why I can tell people don't come for me.
Everybody coming for you.
You know what I mean? Because
Well-
the one thing with me, I speak facts.
But one fact we want them to speak for sure is the like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell
So-
you'll get more of this content.
Yeah, so y'all really love JNN. Ain't no doubt
And
about
we
it.
love
Because y'all like raw, uncut, unadulterated Junkanooers. So you gotta like us on all social media platforms. Either YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. You know what I mean? Come see us, man. But look here. So most of the time all the newscasts come on basically Facebook or YouTube. But if you want all the little small little shouts and little tips of the day and all the little behind the scenes, you gotta check out YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, because all of them get the little small, nice little quick content you all like. You know, so you gotta hit subscribe. Junkanooers network, boy. That's us. All them social platforms. Get organized, boy. And if you want to be a sponsor or if you want to be a part of the show, send us a message same way. And let's get lined up, direct message us on Facebook or any one of them. We'll reach back out to you and get you together. But this session of Love and Junkanoo, boy, that's right there is love your group. You gotta love your group.
That's not like a love and hate your group.
Yeah, see, and that's why he tell you with Junkanoo, boy. You gotta love, boy. That love and Junkanoo is a serious thing, boy, because it can have you love something and hate it at the same time.
Yeah, I totally agree.
You see what I saying?
Yep.
And then you end up in the rock and the love, and then you get people who supposed to be your friends and love you now, they against you.
Oh, they hate you.
They hate you, boss.
Yeah.
Boy, and all y'all come in the same organization, boy. And just because you align with this person, you align with that person, make you judgment believe that we ain't the same no more.
But you gotta
But
realize...
that's like politics, but y'all is let politics separate y'all, and that's what happening with the two fractions. And like I always tell people, boy, they be like, what side of the Wally boys you want? All them are Wally boys, dog.
I tell people I was a Wally.
All them are Wally
when they
boys.
ask that question, I tell them I was the
Stop
Wally.
fooling around. Stop fooling yourself, boy. Ain't none of them, ain't no Wally. Or both sides, all are Wally members. You know, it's just differences. And I want people.
Do you realize, not to cut you off, do you realize that countries actually separated over this? States in America are separated, North and South, and North Carolina, South Carolina, India and Pakistan.
Yeah.
Over differences?
Like and like I used to tell people, boy. I used to tell people this just now. Wait, if you had serious management in place, we'd have never gone through this because ain't nobody would have never could have registered your name if you'd have do what you're supposed to do. Plain and simple.
I think that ends that conversation.
Plain and simple. As simple as that. If management was competent, you would have never had this conversation because they would have do it what they supposed to do. Was register when they need to be registered. And we know why you register. Anyway.
Yeah. I just want to put two
plug
announcements in there.
Yeah.
First one being that Saxons are having a Tum-Tum, what do we call that, recruitment, but they're teaching the youth.
Yeah, a little workshop.
Little workshop,
yeah, a little different thing like that.
And also the JCNP held their elections in past.
They got no members in the JCNP.
No executive board.
Executive
no
board.
Executive. So you can check that out all on social media. So
Yeah.
all that information is there for you. And back to you.
Yeah, man, but that wrap up our session, boy. But in the tip for this week, you want me to say this?
Say it.
Yeah, the tip for this week is, boy, love thy fellow Junkanoo boss. Don't care what side of the fence you stand on. Love your fellow Junkanoo, boy. All y'all is one, boy. All us is two Junkanoo, boy. All us in the same fight together, boy.
Junkanoo is first.
You know what I mean? It's Junkanoo's first, boy, and all this little tribal and thing. This happened after, boy. We been doing Junkanoo before this, and we do Junkanoo after this. You see what I saying? So love your Junkanoo, boy. That's your friend, that's your family, that's your group member. You know what I mean? You might be looking eye to eye now, but
let's not get personal. Let's not.
don't get personal, man.
Personal life and personal.
People personal because when you get personal now, you start to damage reputations of people, and now it becomes a big issue.
Yeah.
You see what I saying?
You don't want that.
And that's why I stayed. That's why I stayed my lane for all this time. I could have get personal on a lot of things, but I
think you need to run for chairman in volleyball.
Hey, soldier man, and that was me, dog. In the Valley Boys, a lot of people hate me, but a lot of people love me and respect me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of things like, you know what the outside dudes say? Say, boy, or dude tell me this a couple of years ago. Say, boy, God's grooming you to take over the Valley, you know. Dude tell me this about 10 years ago, somebody tell me that. Say, God's grooming you to take over the Valley, boy.
That's like a Doyle Brothers comment.
You know what I mean?
I gone.
No, but it's one of my friends.
Yeah.
And I tell him, man, boss, I only doing what is required of me. I tell him just like that. I ain't looking for position. I only doing what is required for me to judgment, make this group successful. That's all I was willing to do, you know. That's all I wanted to do. I ain't never tried to rattle nobody cage, do this and do that. All I wanted to do was make sure the group was successful and judgment respect young people. A lot of young people is in there, boy, and I'm still in there.
Yeah, that is the future. I mean,
You see what I saying?
minus the tennis ball.
Anyway, and that's what I wanted to do, man. Teach them how to do real Junkanoo. Anyway, on behalf of myself, aka Top Class, man, my producer, Mr. Silence, my co-host today, the Junkanoo Paparazzi Boss, we just brought you another solid, exciting, and judgment, thought-provoking episode.
I think that was thought-provoking.
You know,
Yeah.
of JNN, thing called Double Rock. Hope to see you next week for another special episode, but be safe, be good, and love Junkanoo. Love your family, love your friend, love your fellow Junkanoo, your fellow Junkanoo family.
And love one another.
Another boss, you
One
know
love
what I mean?
another.
One love, boss. And we out here.
Nedlet Productions.